Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Corporate Esports Association Call of Duty Modern Warfare Tournament. I'm iHold Shift. With me this afternoon is Visions, and we're digging straight into the middle of the action of our Call of Duty bracket here again. Winner will be essentially able to choose which charity they'd like to push their proceeds towards, as all of our corporate teams are starting to square off against each other here. Visions, we're dealing with IBM going on against the Team Raytheon squad.
That's right. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly how these teams have gotten here and see what they're going to be able to do for us on the map. As of course, very first map will be Azir Cave. The next two to follow will be a Gunrunner Search and Destroy and a Hacking Yard Domination if it gets to a map number 3. But off the bat, Raytheon going to actually end up hitting themselves with their own teammates. So they're going to have maybe a little bit of a slower start towards the very first hill. But nonetheless, they are still the first ones attacking. You're able to get a couple of nice flanks off the start as well. But of course, you want to be able to get yourself this good spawn leading in towards P2. We see the majority of the members here on IBM already getting set up for that, but Raytheon starting to put some pressure on and dropped a lot of kills early.
A little bit of awkwardness there for Mach to kind of kill himself with his own nade, but looks like beyond that, everything is, like you mentioned, moving pretty smoothly, as out of the first 60 seconds, we're about 30 through, and nearly all of that has been accumulated to Raytheon thus far. And with this, Mach is trying to correct some of his early mistakes by making a solo play towards the backside of what eventually will be those P2 spawns. Not able to do much, but he does at least pull the IBM squad back a touch further, which will give this Raytheon squad a pretty significant amount of time here on this town center. They're going to be up above 50 seconds on this first hill.
Yeah, they're going to be up quite a bit, and you don't see this very often, and you're going to have to now try and find a big response leading in towards the second hill. Good shot from Mach, as he might look to push this flank, but instead might even look to hit the hill directly, as there's just one player in it, but the communication not there. The teammate did end up coming through, so IBM, they're going to be in a strong setup and a strong hold. They have to make sure that they're holding on towards these spawns, because there's a good chance that they could just spawn out, and well, Raytheon now going to have that close spawn, the cave spawn coming over towards IMB, and well, this is going to make things just even more difficult, because you now have to try and hold on towards the majority of this time, but there's still 35 seconds up and left for it, and you no longer have that favorite spawn. And well, McLovin just walks on in, finds himself a big double, opens things up, and they're right back on the hill.
One name? You gave yourself one name? McLovin able to find himself 2 kills that time through, 3 and 4 for him. T-Monster at 6 and 1, most notably for his squad. As like you mentioned, Raytheon will be able to break on in and take a significant amount of time here on P2. You can see IBM is making their way over towards the backside of P3, wanting to secure the spawn. So at least we're getting some instances here where we're reading the fact that, yeah, these teams very much so know exactly where they want to go. And I imagine most of them are pretty big fans of what's going on in the CDL and things of that nature. So as we get this third hardpoint opened up, maybe a little bit of a lack of commitment as far as who's going to take up the time, as the first 10 seconds were actually going mostly to the game clock. And with that, Raytheon already here for the early contest.
Yeah, they need to try and get themselves some points on the board for IBM. We'll see if they can do that, as good shots are coming down right on top of that head glitch towards the left. And that is the God Heady that's so hard to try and remove some of these players from. We're going to see Ninja just simply grabbing all of this hill time, but there's a flank player. This is Elfman. He can look to make the big play. He's going to grab 2 as he beats the second one down. Goes in the gun, and well, he might jump out to the God Heady, but does not read it correctly, so it gets cleaned up in the back. The rest of the time being contested, but IBM, they have about 20 seconds they can still gather from this. They already have 2 players rotating towards the next one in towards the cave, so they're in a good spot to start bringing this back, as most Raytheon members are still going to be slow to this rotation.
Yeah, and IBM has been doing a nice job of at least understanding the rotations. It just comes down to, can you actually execute your setups thus far? Again, all these kills, yeah, they look great in the kill feed, but once again, you can see they're giving up a lot of space in the caves and on the pinch here. So Raytheon is once again going to be able to hit this for a potential early contest, pending if the shots are good. And with that, there will be at least 1 to fall. Second might be coming through here quickly, as Max Mittens is not going to respond to the player to their left. And with that, again, Raytheon already breaking through for some contest time here at P4.
This is looking good so far. The thermal even coming out here for us, as we'll see some shots go down. Lines up a double. All right, we'll take those. And this is Raytheon able to come in, not finding a successful break coming off the rotation from the soccer field. So this is a good chance to get yourself some time. A nice flank from Afro Ninja, as he's going to find one. His teammates combined for a couple more. Looks for some more shots with that MP7, but will not find the execution on the second player. We're now seeing triple digits right now for Raytheon, as they are at 100. IBM should be able to grab the majority of the scrap time, which is just 10 seconds. But that's going to bring us just to about 15 points heading in towards the cliff path shift. And, well, if we do see all those red arrows there, we know this is the hill that you can collect a lot of time on, so there's a good chance Raytheon might be able to get that lead they had very early on.
Yeah, Afro Ninja doing a lot of work with this MP7. Granted, there is a suppressor on the front end of that SMG. Again, not necessarily abiding by GAs that we currently see in the pro scene, but fun nonetheless. As IBM is actually finding themselves down, but only by a slim margin, considering how the first 2 hills go. this is a margin you can live with, pending that you can find a way to break into this 5th hard point, of which the kills are looking pretty solid. Eros is flexing that little toggle scope as he goes back and forth between the red dot and the thermal. Long-range shots will do it as he finds himself a second. And with that, the kill feed will turn up most significantly to IBM's favor, but not enough to fully influence the hill, as Raytheon will take another 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah, they're going to grab maybe the majority of this as they're just laying down in the smokes, hoping to God that thermal doesn't come back in and cleans them up. That's a 3-piece that comes in for Monster, as he's actually a bit of a monster in the 5th path. And that hill that I talked about where you can grab a lot of this time off of P5, that's exactly what happens. Raytheon are going to grab a good 45 points, so almost a full entire hold. Only another 10 points or so get collected from IBM. So they are in a great spot, but in towards the middle we'll go. The resets are in. IBM are not out of this by any means. They're just a hard point away from getting themselves back in, but they're going to have to step it up a little bit, have to play for these money hills just a little bit more, rotating earlier on and getting yourself into lockdown setup. That's what you're going to need if you're going to slowly bring this back for Raytheon. They're starting to pick up speed and they're running away with this one slowly but surely, Shift.
Yeah, and IBM, again, you look from north to south, the left side of your UI there, the kill feed has been looking pretty solid. The stat line looking pretty solid as far as how they've been slaying. It's just the hill time that's been lacking a touch here. Even again, his Elfman is just 2 and 17. He's almost accumulated a minute worth of hill time. So definitely doing a job as you see him laying pro to the hill at the moment as he's trying to contest things up while McLovin will watch over the top of him for 2. 15 seconds to play for here. Looks like most of it's going to be contested until Monster moves his way over for a second kill. Curb Stomp will deal with him, but again, Raytheon, a nice bit of contest time here, plus they have won the rotation over to P2.
Elfman, he's only got 3 kill shifts, but you said it. He's got a minute and 8 seconds in the hill. He's kind of just doing his thing, sipping some water, grabbing the time that he can. And he's doing a good job of it because they're obviously in the lead and they're winning. This, however, has been a early rotation. Now, whether or not they're going to be able to hold it, that's really been the big question. Usually the first 15 seconds are good, but they're going to feel the next wave of pressure just about to come in right now from Raytheon through the cave. They have the smoke down and we'll have the thermals right back out. And well, it's doing wonders as it's going to grab a nice little double kill. So in the cave system, this thing has been ruthless as those more shots go through. The Fire cleans it up as he gets taken down in the back, so good work from them. IBM now looking to grab another 30 seconds off this one, but this could be a big play from Team Monster as he will win his one-on-one in the hill. There's going to be a couple more players flooding in, but he buys just a couple extra seconds. Now you have to be worried right now for IBM because you do not want to get pinched back in towards the spawn where you can be spawn trapped. They've done a good job of getting themselves out already. They're rotating and they're winning those rotational kills.
And M13 actually in hand here for McLovin as he tries to cook up a frag grenade, but Afro will deal with him by way of Deagle. And now IBM starting to turn these kills into some actual time and presence on the hill. Here comes Heroes. He's going to toggle back and forth between whichever scope fits the job best. And this time it was the red dot to get the clear. And now IBM in a position to really break into this deficit nicely as they get the early break on this third hard point. And with that, it's just a 30-point lead underneath that now as Raytheon is trying to break back in, but only one kill will turn up in their favor. There's still numbers here for IBM. And Elfman, well, it's time to get some kills here, friend. You got to get to work, get to the business end of the job here, and try to get some kills through for your squad. Not going to happen as IBM will, again, continue to have the numbers, but McLovin and Mock doing a pretty nice job of at least keeping this contested all the way through, even though they are playing a 2v4. And now with the shoes on the other foot, as Afro Ninja has to find a way to clean up a couple, he'll only find 2 of what needed to be 4, and the scrap time will go the way of Raytheon.
They bring this game right back to being very, very close. Only going to be separated just by 30 points exactly. And they have the early rotation just like they did in that last reset of the hard points. But Team Monster has a monster flank. He could do wonders, but he does find one. Can he piece together 2? Shots go through the smoke. Has to go for the reload, so only able to get 1. But he does disrupt the front lines for a quick moment. But Mac Mitten finds both kills in the back. The spawns are now actually flipping out. So this is so major for them. Curb Stomp grabs a 2-piece for himself. Euros is also still doing work with this thermal AR that he's been pulling out here, especially in the cave system where it's been so lethal. And they have grabbed the first 30 points. They're now going to take the lead shift as IBM are bringing things back, and they have a chance to also rotate early to the clip path.
You've got 4 members over 24 kills for IBM, and finally that slaying is starting to turn into actual progress on the scoreboard in a major, significant way. And now you kind of have to take a look for the rest of Raytheon. Someone's got to help out Monster. He's 25 and 24, doing obviously a boatload of the work currently. And as IBM will win the rotation to P5, of course, they could clean it up here, but they would have to have a very solid hold as Raytheon, again, is trying to hit right to the middle of the cave. Cut McLovin, the first one in, will be cut down by Poison. And now it just comes down to, can you follow up behind this? Because the numbers aren't in your favor. You're kind of hitting staggered. And, well, IBM will deal with the lines of sight, and they will turn this into a 220 to 207 lead.
Mako is chasing kills, and he's going to pay for it as that was going to be done. And while they're not going to have the spawns by any means, they're going to have to also hit this one more time. There's only another 20 seconds that need to be picked up, and well, there's 30 on the board. So one strong hit has to come in. They're going to flood in now. The shots are not going to be good. Mock actually runs on through. He's on top of the time. If he can contest another 5 or 6 seconds, then we will at least see another hill that will have to be won off of. Mock actually wins a second gunfight as he lays down. Will single-handedly do it all on his own, as IBM's not even interested on hitting up the remaining of this actual scrap time on P5. And Mock, he's still on a tear as he does so much work, saves the game. 239 to 226. IBM now rotating, and they're on the hill.
This has not been a hill where IBM has been notoriously good thus far in the first 2 rotations. Elfman doing his job, just contesting, sitting in the small corner trophy system to keep him safe. Afro Ninja has to try to find him in the corner, won't be able to do it. And now all of a sudden, 241, 226, but the kills are turning up in favor of Raytheon for a small time. Monster has to be just that, as he needs to hold on to the front and let Elfman contest from the back. Right over the top, he'll find the headshot, and now it's just down to a couple of more members for IBM. Can you break through this hill? 241 to 232, and Raytheon, this is a clean kill feed at the last second. It's IBM spawning all the way out. They have to climb up the well for a pinch. It's 241, 242. Raytheon with Mock and Monster finding kills might just be able to do it. It's down to Elfman. Can you hold on for the last 5 here, brother? It's 248. It's going to hold at the moment. Elfman finds a big pickup in the hill, but is there enough time for the 250 pick? It is at the last second, and Raytheon will take map number 1, 250, 241.
Well, that's one way to start up the series for a shift, as that was insane. The Mock went absolutely massive on this hill. You can see it. He went on a tear. He was just picking them up left and right, had them spawn trap, just went nuts here as he took down 3 plus his teammate. The slaying was certainly in the favor of IBM, but the hill time and the pressure simply was not. But oh my God, what a comeback. The Mock making the play to solo carry that in towards that reset of the hills there shift when he was on the cliff path, and he found a major 3-piece, keeping himself alive, not letting that time go over, forces the next hill where he does the exact same thing in the final moments. That's a pretty intense game number 1.
I'm not going to lie, didn't think we were going to see so much heat straight out of the kitchen here so early, but that's indeed the case, as we are technically dealing with the winter finals here. This is a best of 3. Important to note the format. There is a double elimination style bracket, so there will be an opportunity for whoever loses this series to continue to find their way through the losers bracket and then potentially back to the grand finals. All of that broadcast coverage will be actually occurring on May the 30th, so make sure you mark your calendars for that one if you're trying to follow along with these corporate squads that are battling it out here. But fiery first map, like you mentioned, 250, 241, doesn't get much closer than that. And next we'll go to the search and destroy, like you mentioned. It will be on Gunrunner, and I'm not going to lie. If we see a potential more of these thermal scopes, silencers, and things of that nature, who knows? Anything can continue to happen.
That's the thing. You don't know what they're going to pull out at this point in time when we get ready to jump back in towards the map too. But I think, just seeing the map number 1, it's very clear that these teams have gotten towards this point for a reason. And seeing them be able to kind of display that reason for us in that very first map, well, they're both pretty evenly matched when it comes towards the respawns. We see IBM definitely seem to have the upper hand, maybe for as far as consistency through actual gun skill and winning those big important gunfights. But when it comes to the objective, I mean, that's what obviously wins you the game. That was something that we just saw very well done right here from Raytheon. So going in towards search and destroy, where you can actually win the game mode through just pure kills, you don't always have to go for the plant on the attack, and you can just simply wipe them out. I'm curious to see if the gun skill that we saw in this map number 1 will translate in towards this map number 2, where they're simply just going to be outgunning, or if we'll see maybe some of these crazy plays where you talk about we are going to get some of these thermals, maybe these big smoke plays where they're going to flood smokes over towards forests, and they're just going to peek top crates right away and try to find these players who aren't going to have cold-blooded on, of course. So it'll be very, very interesting to see exactly what pans out for us. It's map number 2, where it is a best of 3. So you have to win this if you are Raytheon, and in order to get it towards that map number 3 and still have a chance at making to the grand final from the winners bracket.
Yeah, it's interesting, I think, to see how this all will progress, because again, we're used to seeing 2 flashes, 2 stuns, 1 smoke, when it comes down to some of these game modes. Who knows? We could be dealing with a rave situation with smokes and lasers on the guns. We just don't know. As actually, it's going to be domination for map number 2. So this could be a respawn only tournament. I'm actually not 100% sure as far as how that is played out. And yep, it's going to be 4, actually just 4 smokes from the side of Raytheon. And as far as we can tell, is only one that I could see, at least from IBM, due to the overlay. But it's a lot of smokes in the mix here, so it's going to get really cloudy here real quickly.
Yeah, and well, talking about domination now, well, this is a totally different beast because you really have to be coordinated in this game mode, but Poison does open up with a big 3-piece, and that's one way to get yourself right in towards this map number 2 on the side of IBM, and we'll see them just play this ring around the rosy. The flip of the spawn's already going to play a factor for it, so Raytheon have complete control of the majority of the flags at the moment. As I say that, A might just go back over for a neutralization. It's Afro Ninja will be the ninja on the flag, able to take down McLovin. Will go for the full cap altogether, so this will be an ANC hold, and well, Afro Ninja starting to maybe get that warm-up shot as he's beating people across the map. They have to now move in for the B flag as C is going to be taken away, so we're going to flip the sides, but Raytheon with the early lead.
Yeah, and T-Monster at now 6 in 1-4 straight this life as Raytheon finds a favorable 5-man wipe kill feed. Monster nearly snaps to another, but Poison deals with him swiftly. And again, it is this toggle hybrid scope between the red dot and the thermal coming into play for the M4. Mock try to hold things down in Boiler, a very strong position to try to upkeep as much as you possibly can, and he will back away knowing that he not only has he tagged up, he's got no teammates with him. Heroes will find one, looking for a second over the top of the minecart. He'll be able to find that kill, but it's going to be a response to Raytheon with 2 of their own, not going to get to the third, and that should surely be at least a B neutral, if not a B flip here for IBM as they have the numbers.
Big win. Afro Ninja does it again here on the flag, but a big flank is going to respond with that as Team Monster put the stop from the flag going all the way through. And we see that player number 8, that's all the way in the back of the mine crate, that's Curb Stomp, just picked up his very first kill, but is going to have to put some more work in here as he's got 2 players to deal with on the flag, but will not be able to piece together anything. His teammates and the reinforcements are now in, and well, there is Afro Ninja once again finding multi-kill after multi-kill just on about every single life before he's taken down. B is going to be in the hands at the moment over towards Raytheon, where they are been in control of this domination. They look a lot more comfortable on the C side where they're dedicating all their pressure in towards B. And while there has not been a big response, Poison has found the doubles, but we haven't seen that same amount of pressure come through from Raytheon, and they just have not, or rather, excuse me, from IBM, and they have not been able to gather themselves together to get on top of this flag. They will try for it one more time as the neutralization is there, but the next wave of Raytheon is about to run on through.
And you can see what Raytheon is doing. I think they've kind of understood that maybe Elfman's not our best fragger in the squad. He's just watching over C. They say, just sit here, make sure nobody takes our home flag. We'll just go run around and do everything else. He's sitting just at 1-in-1. But hey, if he's fulfilling his job as expected, you're okay with it. It is leading to a 30 or 20-point lead here as IBM is trying desperately to crack into this lead. And if they can find a way to just to secure their home flag, again, with the Elfman just sitting on top of C, they should naturally just have numbers to keep hitting this B and keep it in their control, which so far they've done just that. This lead will surely dwindle here in the next minute and a half.
Likely should. And IBM just need to get themselves these big flanks just like this. Heroes plays his life, he challenges out, doesn't win his fight, but his teammate cleaned up the player that was running in initially to B. Will he be able to grab 2? No, he will not. So Mock's the one that opens things up once again, has an opportunity to jump right on top of this B. Flags the turn, almost comes through, but no burn is there. McLovin pieces together 2, will not find the third. Cooter now tries to get himself the B flag and does successfully do it, so they flip the sides one more time, but Raytheon is still going to be in control of the B flag, which has been the difference maker. Because of that, the scoreboard has not swung in the way of IBM thus far, but Poison will be able to grab a nice little jump shot, quick movement from him as he'll now push out, look to flood out, and find the majority of these players, and IBM are going to hold on towards B, but they're going to have to deal with all these players that are pinching and applying pressure just as they've been doing this entire side.
I would simply put, Raytheon's going to need this 5th member to come and join the fray at some point in time. You need Elfman to be a part of this. There has not been a single attempt to go over to C. He's just sitting on top of the red train car, just waiting very patiently, and he's watching his teammates spawn left, right, and center of him. And thus far, nothing new. But how about this? This is a new scope, a little bit of a different take on a heat-seeking here on the on the scope, and well, it's going to pay off potentially. As again, these smokes, there's so many of them, but Curb Stomp just holding the backside of his heady. Elfman did find a second kill, so claps in the chat there for him as he's now 2-1, holding down to that C flag. But again, without having a 5-man hit ever here, you're just going to be weak numbers-wise, and IBM holding onto the top side, munitions box coming into play. We're seeing a little bit of everything here, Visions, and, well, if it works, I suppose.
Well, maybe you're just mowing so many players down, Shift, that, you know, you got to make sure you're refilling the ammo here, clearly. But that's going to be a very close side number one. And, well, I think that's due to the big fact that you hit, where you don't have that fifth member that's actually assisting you with pressure here. So that was just essentially 4v5. It must have been a fairly boring side for Elfman, who kind of just hung out on top of the crates and might have gotten a chance to go get something to eat or something like this, because he didn't seem like he had to do a whole lot on the map. 2 engagements total, I do believe. And I mean, yeah, you cover somebody from pushing forward and being able to get that neutralization on towards C, but think of what that extra member would do if you were hitting the neutral flag, or if you were just cutting off the middle of the map a little bit more than just rotating back to the flag when you get that indication of when somebody's jumping on the flag itself. So we'll see if anything changes up for us leading in towards the side at number 2, where Raytheon are going to be the first ones to touch B once again, and they're going to get a very early secure.
And again, things looking pretty solid here for Raytheon early. It just simply comes down to how much more work will Elfman get now as he has to watch over the A flag. Almost able to get a snap on there for a second was curb stomp, but Mock will deal with it, deplete the progress. And while this is all occurring, McLovin was able to take the C flag in hand. So striding through this second half so far is Raytheon, as they've got an AC hold for the time being. Really, the big effort is to try to get back over to B, though. McLovin's able to find one and a second as he finds one just sitting in a corner for essentially 3. B will be neutralized, and now it's just down to can you fully secure. McLovin, a little bit of ring around the rosy with Eros, who he's not able to track him down completely, so Eros for 3 straight will, again, keep things relatively neutral, but the secondary fight that comes through, we'll see Mock playing at a 1v1 versus Poison, of which he wins. And that will be the B flag likely secured, but Ninja finds 2 in the backside of this and a little solo play for A. And that will lead to an A flip just as soon as the B flag got secured.
That's right. So this is going to make a little bit of chaos happen on towards the map for us. Play number 4 has a chance to go big, but Cooter can't get anything done. So that's 3 straight that happens on this flag. And, well, all the members have actually rallied together, pushing through the minecart area for the side of IBM. They have a chance now to actually get their hands on side of B. That's a nice snap. It's still a streak. 20 and 8 right now for Afro Ninja. Now make it 5 straight. Wow. As he's getting himself on a tear. He just needs a little bit of help. McLovin will stop the B flag from going through for a quick moment, but the rest of the members are in. C-Monster also have an opportunity to try and make something happen as he just throws his body on the flag, but Heroes will find a very easy pickup, clears that capture that just came in, and now IBM, they're in control of 2 flags, but they desperately need to hold this for a good amount of time.
Tough scenes currently in hand here for the side of IBM. They have a lot of work to do over the next 3 minutes, although they are only down about 30 points. Things will become a touch easier if they can continue to hold this A-B setup, but again, this is where things get a little bit more questionable, considering the fact that we've seen this before from Raytheon. They're just trusting that Elfman's going to watch over the top of their home flag. Only 6 engagements, not exactly what you would call an exciting game here for Elfman in any stretch of the imagination. So, but again, this is going to lead to more numbers on the field here for IBM actively pursuing flags. So as long as they can continue to just win their ones, they will have a natural advantage. A little bit of a spawn flip occurring here as everybody from IBM will actually spawn top right-hand side of your minimap, which will lead them to try to go over to C. So Elfman, it's time. He only finds 1 of what needed to be 2. And with that, the C flag will be flipped.
We flip out IBM. They're throwing resources onto B. So if they're going to be able to throw those resources on towards B, they got to win it. So far, so good. But Elfman will be able to back it up. Not good for anything. As Team Monsters going to be the last one there from Raytheon. And, well, Elfman is going to drop as well. So this is going to be still a pretty big differential. You need some big kills to come through. And Afro Ninja is only able to combine with 1. Scooter's throwing his body on top of the flag. And he's going to win his engagement. Looking for 2, but his teammates there, as Mock has been that saving grace so many different times before, needs to be there once again. 139 to 120, 20 points separating these teams, but IBM, they actually have a chance to go for a triple cap here. Play number 6 also has a chance to go big on top of the home flag. It will only be good for 1 kill, but there's still a chance to get here and try and close things out as IBM, but you gotta be able to get control of at least 2 flags in neutralization, if not a 3 cap. They're slowly doing it, Shift, and they're on track to maybe bring this back once again.
Yeah, they sure are. The neutrals, even that is good enough. Again, 12 points per minute if you hold a 1 flag advantage. It's a difference of 11 points currently, not even that, down to less than that now as they, again, find that extra tick of the 3rd capture before it gets neutralized. So 142 to 137 to score. IBM holding on to A and B. It's going to have to be down to Mock and T-Monster, you feel like, if they want to try to close this one back for Raytheon to secure this in a 2-0 fashion. And, well, how about this? The C flag will stay in their hands. They get a small neutral at A, but it's not going to be enough for the math. They still need a second flag, but if they can just capture it in the next 15 seconds, they'll be in a spot where they can win things out without having to worry about getting a triple cap or a neutral.
Oh my god, this is so close. 2 points, big kills from Mock. On top of it, almost finds a second, but B will swing right back over. It's 149. Now actually 150 to 150. The lead will be given over towards IBM. There's only 10 seconds left. There's a player that might be able to get a neutralization on A, but it might just be too little, too late. The kill is there. It is out. IBM will make the comeback happen as we play Ring Around the Rosie. The beatdown from Curb Stop as he literally just about curb stopped someone by the B flag. 3 points are going to separate these teams, as it was a 9, I believe, in the very first map. But so well done, IBM, able to have that ice in the remaining moments of both maps. And my God, Shift, that came down to the wire once again.
This is fun. Simply put, I think that's really the only way that you could explain it, that this is just fun. Curb Stop goes 6 and 13, but how about the 6 and 7 from Elfman for the L? I was going to say for the dub, but they get it for the L this time through. And end of the day, you might be able to sit here and say, this is our weakest link. Let's put him in a potential spot where he can look strong. But simply put, if you're only coming away with 13 interactions over the course of 10 minutes, it's just not enough. You're playing 4v5 for too long. It's literally the definition of playing 4v5. So maybe throw a little bit more trust Elfman's way. Again, if in the gunfights, won his first ones almost every single time. Just came down to the second. Let's get Elfman involved. Hashtag free Elfman. I'm going to start trending that on Twitter. We need it to happen if Raytheon, I think, wants to find a win here, as he will be going to, I believe, Hackney Yard for our third and final map here in our winners final.
Yeah, and curious to see exactly if it's going to swap back over towards the hard point, or if we're going to stay on Dom, exactly what the plan will be, because we know Search and Destroy definitely not competitive on this map within 5v5 anymore, so it's got to be one of the two, unless they're really starting to change things up for the tournament layout between both of these teams. But coming to the simple fact that it brought up after map number 1, it just seems like both of these teams extremely evenly matched, but there's just a bit of a clutch factor that seems to be separating the difference here between both of them when it comes down to those final moments where you have to win that big one-on-one or find those big kills coming back to your home flag or breaking in towards the hill. It happened multiple times for a lot of these players, and well, that's got to feel pretty good if you're heading in towards the grand finals here, closing things out, because you're able to get yourself into a point where if you're always able to clutch up in those very intense, important moments, well, I mean, that's one of the best factors that you could possibly have within Call of Duty, because a lot of moments come down to that last minute of play and what your decision making comes down to. So that was beautifully done. I mean, to simply put it, there for IBM. There's a resistance that seems to be built in towards the consistency of the roster. That's going to play factors and wonders leading in towards the rest of the tournament. But this map number 3, we need to see some big plays happen from all of the players. Like you mentioned, Elfman is going to have to get in towards the mix, at least baiting for his teammates, is giving you some kind of information as he could be the first fragger in and be that entry man. But we'll have to see if they change things up for him, if he will be playing kind of a dedicated role for his squad or not. But we know they have it in them. They have some highlight players we've seen so far. We've seen them to come alive and close things out.
Yeah, that's the end of the story. I mean, at the end of the day, we will be jumping into a Hackney Yard hard point is what it will be. So there is an opportunity for someone just to kind of post up and take away some hill time. But again, with how furious this map can be when it comes to rotations for spawns, you really need everyone to commit and get involved if you want to convincingly flip the spawns, which is, again, not always easy to do. It seems like it is by nature of just saying it, but especially a map like Hackney Yard is very finicky, very tricky as far as how the spawn system works. And let's be candid, we only put so much emphasis on it because that's usually